Hey loves, it's Britt, and in this video I'm talking about the Sun opposite to Neptune in the composite chart or the Davison relationship chart. So, Sun Neptune aspects in the composite chart can be very alluring and attractive because there's this very magical quality of the relationship itself that feels like something that is like ego transcending and just like dream activating. We really see the other person as a direct, real example of our dream manifested into reality. It's like we feel like our dreams are coming true with this one. Now, with the opposition, there is this inability to see each other for what we really are. And we project onto them what we want them to be. Now, over time, though, it does keep the romance alive. So, like, let's say that you have found someone that you really are compatible with, and you really do have this good synastry with, and this composite chart that has other indicators of compatibility. This will just keep the romance going for a long time because you see them as like the dream person. Now, if you have this aspect in a synastry that is, overly difficult, and a composite chart that is not strong, it can definitely make you delusional into thinking that it is, which is always the chance with Neptune, right? Like, Neptune in itself never shows like that we're incompatible. It just shows that we don't see each other clearly. So we could still be compatible, but there's just this inability to see each other clearly. The other difficulty with this opposition in the composite chart is that we have a hard time seeing what the relationship really is, because the sun is like the main focus of the relationship, like the light, the vitality, the purpose, or one of the purposes. The whole composite chart shows the purpose of the relationship, but the sun is like the major driving force. So having that opposing Neptune can show that one of you or both of you just can't really see the relationship clearly, at times, or all the time, and you might not really be sure about where the relationship is going. There's kind of this vagueness of the relationship, this confusion that you just both can't quite put your finger on what exactly is happening here, and that can end up being kind of an energy drain on both people, just this sort of vague uncertainty of what are we, what is this, who is this, right? Like, is this the person I thought they were? And sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. Now, the opposition does have probably the most attractive quality to it, and there's more compatibility with the opposition than with the square. We're more likely to actually meet in the middle and realize that maybe we've both been off about each other, our perceptions have been off, and we've been in this dreamlike state, but you can meet in the middle and realize, okay, we can still be a partnership, we can still exist. There's a more likelihood of resolving the issue with the opposition. The other thing about the opposition that I've noticed in the composite chart is that sometimes it actually shows that it is the outside world that takes issue with you as a couple. And that is because the opposition is a very relational aspect. And when we're talking planets in the composite chart, which is the chart of two people, sometimes it doesn't necessarily show the tension is just within them. It actually like can project out, and it's like the way that other people see the relationship. So it could be that other people oppose your relationship. Other people think that you are being vague with each other, you're confusing each other, you're lying to each other. Whether or not that's actually true, it's might not be. But other people can definitely see this relationship as Neptunian. They see it as somebody is delusional, maybe both people, and they can see it as having a negative or draining effect on the the people in it. So you can see, yeah, other people responding negatively to the relationship. That's one manifestation of it. Um, or we can see that other people idolize the relationship. Other people see it as the dream love. Other people see it as the most perfect relationship with no flaws, and they're just soulmates. It's the best. So you can have two groups of people looking at your relationship from the outside. The other potential with Neptunian energy is, of course, escapism. So other people could see you guys having a drug problem or alcohol problem or something, but like if maybe you do, that is a potential of this aspect. Or other people could see you as like the spiritual couple, like the spiritual teachers, or the people that are just very like soul connected. It could be that. So yeah, it can be very interesting what this opposition conjures up in the outer world, because it definitely can be confusing for people on the outside as well as it is confusing for people on the inside with this opposition. And yeah, like I said about drugs and alcohol, when you have Neptune Sun aspects, especially the hard aspects in the composite chart, if either of you have any addictive tendencies, you don't want to bring them into the relationship, because you will make each other worse. You want to keep that stuff at the door, because whatever addictions or escapism you have, this relationship will magnify it and probably increase it. So, with the hard aspects, the opposition to, you just want to be aware of potentially increasing the other's bad habits. And a part of this can be that you're actually far less critical of each other than you would be towards other people. So maybe you let each other get away with, like, sure, have another piece of cake or have another drink, or like, of course, like, it's all good. Anything you do is good because you're a perfect god or goddess. And so you can be actually not helping each other when you're, not focusing on self-improvement, right? Letting your addictions or your bad habits increase in this relationship. That's something that can happen. Another thing that can happen with the opposition is that one person feels like the savior and one person constantly feels like they're saving the person. And that can switch to who is feeling like that. But the one of the weird ego energies that can happen here with this aspect is that, yeah, someone is weaker, or someone is a drug addict, or someone is very emotionally unstable, or someone is needing this saving, and the other person makes it their whole mission that they will do this and they will save this person, right? And sometimes that dynamic fits perfectly well with this opposition. Is that healthy? Not really. But it does tend to come up in these types of relationships. So these are some of the red flags and the potential difficulties of this relationship. But the benefits are that very beautiful way of seeing each other, that lack of criticism of each other. So feeling very safe, feeling very spiritually connected at the soul level, feeling like this is the most romantic relationship you've ever been in, and simply being unable to see any flaws in that person even long after they've died. And everybody tells you that they had major flaws, and you will not see it. I had this aspect with my late partner in spirit, and that is something that people still say to me. I just will not see a flaw, and then I start to see a flaw in him, and I'm like, no, that was not a flaw. So you can be very forgiving of the other person when you're in this relationship. With Sun opposing Neptune, it's like you just see them as this like divine god. So it can feel like this very spiritual connection, this very deep, emotional Piscean connection, soul connection. It can be diffusing to your egos, to your identity. So be aware of that if you start, subtly becoming the other person. Now, that's not going to happen with people that have very strong egos in their natal chart to begin with, but people that are already Neptunian or Piscean, you want to watch out for them, losing some of themselves in this relationship. That's a possibility, but it can also just make your lives more beautiful and feel more magical with two already strong individuals. This can be a really good romantic aspect in the composite chart as long as you're watching out for those specific red flags that I've mentioned. It would be great for, two musicians, two artists together doing some sort of spiritual work. You're really going to come up with like beautiful, synchronistic, magical works of art if you have this opposition. You want to look at the houses too that this opposition is happening in. The two, like, they're going to be the polarity points here, the two houses. So to really gain more clarity on how this is functioning, what areas of the relationship that this is really affecting. And yeah, you might notice some people on the outside of your relationship not seeing the relationship clearly. So the thing with Neptunian aspects is you want to make it a point to be very clear. You want to tell this person, this is what I want from you. This is what I want from our relationship. This is who I am. You also, because they're not going to see you as you are. And be very clear about everything, and then you can avoid any misunderstandings. Now, also with the outside world, you want to be really clear, because if you leave it up to their imagination, they're going to expect weird things with this opposition. You want to be very clear. We're a couple. We're like this. This is what we stand for. This is what we're doing. Because then you'll prevent misunderstandings from other people as well. So anyways, I'd love to know your experience of this aspect in the composite chart. If you've had it in your composite chart or the Davison chart, what was it like? I'd love to know. And thank you so much for watching. We'll talk soon. Bye.